What's up, everyone? It is Dominic here for Obligatory, bringing you an overview and highlighting some of our favorite new releases in music for the week ending in Friday, September 1st. Kicking things off, we have 3 fantastic albums headlining this week of new music. The first of those being power pop, ska punk, and indie rock extraordinaire, and one of my personal favorite artists ever, Jeff Rosenstock, who shared his new album Hell Mode a day earlier than anticipated, releasing it on Thursday, August 31st instead of Friday, September 1st. Hell Mode is the proper follow-up to his 2020 album No Dream and Rosenstock's 5th solo record. In a statement, he described his latest album as feeling like, quote, the chaos of being alive right now, adding that we're experiencing all these things at the same time that trigger our senses and emotions that make us feel terrible. We're just feeling way too much all at once. Hell Mode is out now via Polyvinyl Records. Next, we have the legendary shoegaze/dream pop band Slowdive returning with a new record titled Everything Is Alive, their first since a self-titled release that came out in 2017. It might lack some of the grittiness of their early work in the 1990s, but much like their last record, proves they're still more than capable of producing some incredibly textured and truly mesmerizing sounds. Everything Is Alive by Slowdive is available now via Dead Oceans. Last but not least of our 3 headliners before we move into some more albums and singles from this week, we have Inglewood rapper Blu to be the latest of several rappers to team up with the Real Bad Man collective, the brainchild of Stussie's former art director Adam Weissman and artist Noah Butkus that functions as a record label and fashion brand. Real Bad Man has already pulled together projects with Boldy James, Pink Sifu, Kool Keith, Smoke DZA, and now Blu. So if you're looking for some high-level lyricism over some smooth boom-bap beats, you might want to check out Bad News by Blu and Real Bad Man. With what is probably the most notable EP of the week, we have Philly's Spirit of the BEEHIVE with the new EP, I'm So Lucky. The EP features the previously released singles Tapeworm and Natural Devotion 2 alongside 2 others. I'm So Lucky came about in the wake of a breakup between band members Zach Schwartz and Rivka Ravid after 10 years together. With work on the EP beginning during this transitional period, Spirit of the BEEHIVE parsed through some of these emotions atop some of their most focused and dynamic instrumentals yet. I'm So Lucky is out now through Saddle Creek Records. And we've got another Philly act on the docket this week with Speedy Ortiz releasing their new album Rabbit Rabbit. It is the 5th album from the indie rock power pop outfit led by guitarist, singer, and songwriter Sadie Dupuis, and it is probably their most vulnerable and personal yet. The album's title comes from an incantation repeated by Dupuis, who latched onto the phrase at a young age as a coping mechanism for her OCD, and the songwriting of Rabbit Rabbit focuses on tackling childhood trauma and combating it instead of relying on routines. It's emotionally cathartic and melodically fierce, and Rabbit Rabbit is out now on Wax 9. LA-based experimental rock band Sprain have shared their 2nd record this week with The Lamb as Effigy. Clocking in at 97 minutes long, The Lamb as Effigy is more like some sort of avant-garde production score rather than an album in the traditional sense that you would expect. Noise, sound collages, post-rock, free jazz, and more come together to create this beautiful and chaotic sonic illustration of the human experience. The Lamb as Effigy, which also has the alternate title of 350 XOXOXOs for a spark union with my darling divine, is out now via The Flenser. Show Me the Body just dropped an EP featuring remixes of a select few tracks from their most recent album, Trouble the Water. The New York post-hardcore trio have described the 5-track EP as, quote, an amalgamation of friends and idols, and it features remixes by High Tech, Simon, Pink Sifu, Slauson Malone 1, Michael 5000 Watts of Swishahouse, and an RXK Nephew feature. Trouble the Water Remixes EP is out now via Loma Vista Recordings. Psychedelic rock band Frankie and the Witchfingers have a new album out titled Data Doom, out now via Greenway Records and Reverberation Appreciation Society. Smoke DZA and Flying Lotus team up for the collaborative EP Flying Objects, which is available now via Smokers Club Records. We've also got a short 3-track, roughly 6-minute long self-released demo from the South Korean hardcore punk band Slant that I'm a big fan of already. Kicking things off on the singles front this week, we have 2 tracks from JID and Lil Yachty as The Black Boys with Half Doin' Dope and Van Gogh, the former of which also features Babytron. Despite these two having their own pretty distinct styles, the 2 Atlanta rappers have a lot of chemistry on here. For another notable rap collab this week, we've got Houston's Maxo Kream tapping Memphis's Key Glock for the song Bone Crusher. It's a banger of a track that really harkens back to early 2000s crunk music while interpolating and giving a shout out of sorts to the 2003 track Never Scared by Bone Crusher, which featured T.I. and Killer Mike. Chicago pop punk's Knuckle just announced a new album titled Losing What We Love with the release of single The Tower. The track, paired with the previously released single Groundhog Day, showcase a bit of a darker tone for a band, with The Tower being, quote, a song about welcoming the inevitability of death, destruction, and chaos. Losing What We Love is set for release on October 20th through Pure Noise Records. A little over a week ago, Philly indie punks Mannequin announced the creation of their own label imprint with Romantic Records and their plans to reissue their 2016 album Romantic. But this week they're back with a brand new single as well, with the noisy and anthemic I Got Heaven. About the track, band leader Marissa DeBeese says that, quote, I Got Heaven is a song intended to merge the sacred and the profane and to serve as a reminder that we are all perfect exactly as we have been made and that no one gets to decide how a life should or should not be lived. This one is out now via Epitaph Records. The rap duo of Billy Woods and Elucid have an album set for release at the end of this month, and they just gave us the second glimpse of it with Woke Up and Asked Siri How I'm Gonna Die. It's a little more subdued than we usually hear the duo, and certainly much less abrasive than the lead single Trauma Mike, and it is one of 4 tracks from the album that features production from JPEG Mafia. Armand Hammer's new album, We Buy Diabetic Test Strips, is out September 29th through Fat Possum Records. Cheek Freaks rejoice as Cheekface have released another single with the new track Plastic. It's their 3rd original song they've put out this year, so there's likely an album on the way, but for now, let's just enjoy another classic Cheekface track with some silly humor about recycling, restaurant buffets, 3D printers, and other witty observations about the otherwise mundane. New Jersey power pop punk band Teenage Halloween have released the 3rd single from their upcoming album Till You Return with the new song Getting Bitter. It's another outpouring of power pop energy, but this one sees bassist Trisha Marshall on lead vocals instead. Teenage Halloween's new album, Till You Return, comes out October 20th on Don Giovanni Records. UK queer punk band Problem Patterns announced their debut album with the release of 2 new songs, Lesbo 3000 and Poverty Tourist. Both tracks are just bursting with frustration while simultaneously exuding a ton of confidence from the band, and they are super punchy as well. Problem Patterns' debut album, Blouse Club, is set to release October 27th via Alcopop Records. The Irish artist pigbaby caught my attention last year with his EP Palindromes, which found this interesting balance between ambient and electronic sounds and some more folk-oriented sounds as well. Building upon that, his latest single, Life Moves Fast, So Take My Hand, is another one that's really hard to categorize genre-wise, but really resonates emotionally. It samples some mandolin playing from the artist's late grandfather and features some vocals from his late cousin alongside a sparse but danceable electronic beat. While there's no details on a title or release date yet, it is said to be the first single from pigbaby's debut album, and it is out now via Please Make It Ruins. Minimal post-punk and synth-punk trio Optic have shared the title track from their upcoming sophomore album Glass Blocks. Super groovy and a tiny bit jerky, Glass Blocks comes with these warping synths, brilliantly punchy percussion, and a bass line that is downright addictive. This one is out now via Feel It Records, and you can be on the lookout for the full album next week, September 8th. Few other quick mentions of some singles before we wrap things up. We have Australian garage punk band Vintage Crop with a new single out now titled Springtime. English art punk band Eyesore and the Jinx have a noisy single out now with Nocturnal Athletes' Ode to Bruno from their upcoming debut album Jitterbug, which will be out September 17th. And last but not least, Oakland math rock / post-punk band Fee Faw Fum have a new single in Pickled Ginger, and their debut album titled 100 is out next week, September 8th. There was a ton of music released in what was one of the most stacked weeks of the year, so we obviously didn't cover everything, but if you want to see the full list we put together, you can check that out on your screen or head over to our socials. Otherwise, we are currently polling for albums by Travis Scott, Earl Sweatshirt, No Name, Genesis Owusu, Nirvana, Outkast, and more. If any of those artists are of any interest to you, whether you love them, hate them, or anywhere in between, make sure you check out our voting forums where you can submit a score, select top tracks, and submit a review for a chance to be featured. And finally, check out our previous video where Dev covered some news stories and music that happened over the past week or so, and thank you so much for watching.